We are very honored this evening to have the Metropolitan Alexius, Custodians visiting us here this evening. He had a very heavy day. He was visiting Father's Parish in Haverhill this morning and had to jump on a car and drive over this afternoon. We very much appreciate you being with us this evening, Your Eminence. Please. Dr. Tempest, Father Bob Presentera, and beloved members of this historic and beautiful community. I couldn't miss this historic occasion. I wanted very much to be at this banquet in honor of Father Bob, because I've known Father Bob not only from our days at the seminary. We were classmates back in the 1960s. We went to the seminary in September of 1964, and we studied in the same classroom for many years. But we've known each other for many more years than that, because our families knew one another in New York, while Father Bob attended the St. Nicholas Parish in Flushing, and I, as a young man, attended the cathedral in New York and lived in Upper Manhattan. So we've known each other for many years. And I know personally what a decent human being Father Bob is. He's a rare human being with a heart of gold. But I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, because you've had him as your pastor for all these years. Today is the feast of the 12 Apostles of Christ. And yesterday in the Orthodox Church we celebrated the feast day of Saints Peter and Paul. We celebrate today a modern apostle, you will permit me to say, because we priests and bishops carry on the mandate that God gave the first disciples to be fishermen of men. And for all of these centuries, from the apostles until 2013, Christ chooses simple fishermen to become fishers of men. The first disciples of Christ, you will remember, were fishermen. They didn't have any theological education. They were weak human beings, but they had faith in their hearts and they loved Christ. And when I think of Father Bob, and every time I see him, I think of the first disciples who gave up everything to follow him and to preach his word to the ends of the earth. And Father Bob has been a faithful priest who has served parishioners such as yourselves throughout the United States, and he has done so with dignity, with compassion, with a great deal of love and a great deal of dedication. His ministry would not have been successful had it not been for the lady that's sitting at the end of the table, Presentera. Dr. Tempest spoke about how much she has done in this community. But her greatest contribution to this parish was to be a faithful and loving wife and mother and grandmother, someone who always stood by Father Bob's side, encouraging him, I would say once in a while scolding him, not really scolding him, but encouraging him to do better. She was a faithful partner, and I think she deserves a round of applause for everything. There was no question when I received the invitation to come to Burlington, which is one of my favorite places, believe it or not, even though I don't come up here as much as I'd like to. It's one of my favorite parishes because it's comprised of men and women that love God, that are in communion with one another, that want their parish to continue to manifest the message of Christ, not only in Burlington, but throughout Vermont. So when I got the invitation, there was no question that I would come. And this morning I celebrated the Divine Liturgy in the parish of the Holy Apostles in Haverhill, and I came with Father Macarius. We drove together, and the 2.5 or 2 hour and 45-minute ride seemed like it was only 15 minutes because we were talking on the way up, and all of a sudden we were in Burlington at the motel, resting a little bit before we came over here to this beautiful banquet hall. Father Bob, on behalf of the Archdiocese, the Archbishop, the members of the Holy Synod, I want to express my gratitude for the ministry that you have offered our church. And I pray that God gives you many years to continue being a man of God who radiates the love of God, not only here in Burlington, but throughout New England. I can tell you that Father Bob is an example for the other clergymen that serve in our metropolis. And on behalf of the Clergy Brotherhood, which is comprised of about 70 priests in New England, I express again my congratulations to you and my gratitude for your ministry. And I hope that God grants you many years to continue being a man of God that radiates the presence of God in this community and in this world. Father Bob is an apostle, just as Peter and Paul were apostles, just as Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And he is serving this community with all the strength of his heart. And that's really all that we can ask of any priest, any bishop, any human being, to do the best he can. And Bob, you have done the best you could. And that was more than anyone can expect of any priest of God. So thank you for honoring Father Bob today. And I ask you to continue praying for him and Presidenta and his children and grandchildren. And may God continue blessing this parish so that the future may be as bright as the past. May the future embrace more and more of our Orthodox friends throughout this state. And may we continue being a lamp that we do not hide under the bushel. And may our light shine before men that they may see our good works and glorify God in heaven. God bless you.